catching my husband getting flirty with another college girl again. I lost it and smashed up the house. My mother-in-law said I was useless for not keeping my man in check. My sister-in-law said I deserved it. I wanted a divorce. Luis, however, threatened me with our child. For the sake of the child, I swallowed my anger. I didn't expect that one compromise would turn into a lifetime of endurance. Luis fooled around his whole life, and I served him like a maid till the day he died peacefully of old age. And me? After a lifetime of hard work, I ended up hated by my children and died sick in a rented apartment. But heaven took pity on me. I came back to the day before the divorce. Chapter 1. When I opened my eyes, I saw my mother-in-law, who had been dead for over 20 years, spitting at me. Camila, how dare you trash my house? Are you crazy? So he chatted a bit with a female student. And you go rabid like a mad dog? Where's your manners? Huh? Can't control your man and still blame him? You brought this on yourself. If you've got the guts, go get divorced. My son is a college professor. You're just a housewife. Who'd want a used-up woman like you? Don't worry, Mom. Lily, my sister-in-law, chimed in gleefully. She's all bark. She won't divorce. She's the one who egged my mother-in-law into slapping me just now, and still had the nerve to break stuff? Should have slapped you harder. My father-in-law, slumped in his wheelchair, muttered with his crooked mouth. Hit her, hit. That was his cue for Luis to get violent. My face was swollen. I turned my head and saw Luis watching TV on the couch. I asked him, your mom wants you to divorce me. Are you in? Luis didn't even look up. Doesn't matter to me. If you want a divorce, go ahead. I said. Fine, I agree. We'll go to the civil office tomorrow. Luis smirked. Divorce is fine, but don't even think about taking the kid. And don't forget, we don't have any joint savings. You're leaving with nothing. That trick again. Camila, used to have a fiery temper the first time he cheated. I asked for a divorce right away, but Luis knew exactly how to hold me back. He always used the kid as a threat. The child. My mother-in-law wanted to speak, but Lily tugged her arm to stop her. They all knew the kid was my weakness. Mention the child, and I'd endure anything. But this time, I didn't care anymore. Heaven really cut me a break, letting me live again. This time, I won't let anyone crush me. Not even for the child. Like before. I said nothing. I turned and went back to my room. See, Mom? Lily said smugly. Told you she'd never dare leave. I ignored her. I sneered and started packing my things. It wasn't really my room anyway. It was a small side room next to my father-in-law's. After his stroke, he needed someone with him 24/7. The original plan was I'd take the day shift, and my mother-in-law would watch him at night. But she claimed she had nerve issues and couldn't stay up late. Even a creak would keep her awake. So she made me move to the side room to stay close to him. I almost laughed. Luis slept soundly every night in his big bedroom. And I worked like a nurse and got no rest. Not anymore. Let whoever loves him take care of him. Didn't my mother-in-law love telling the neighbors I was an ungrateful daughter-in-law? Fine, I'll stop pretending. Let Luis be her precious, dutiful son. I briskly packed my bedding and moved into the master bedroom. Luis saw me moving in, frowned, and followed. Why are you in here? What if Dad needs to go to the bathroom at night? What if he needs water? Turns over? Chapter 2. I threw out Luis's clothes. We're getting divorced. Your dad is not my responsibility anymore. Let his own family take care of him. What the hell is wrong with you? Haven't you made enough of a scene? I smiled. So what if I have? He called me dramatic. I used to believe it myself. Arguing with him was being dramatic. Smashing things in a rage was being dramatic. Even skipping meals to protest, dramatic. But now I know better. Hurting myself wasn't drama. Hurting them? That's drama. Look, just moving out of that little side room was enough to make Luis rush after me. Desperate to talk. Funny, in this house, he normally didn't say more than 3 words to me in a whole day. Turns out, only when I acted out did they feel uncomfortable. Luis stormed out of the bedroom with a dark expression. I didn't care what the rest of his family was saying outside. I calmly changed the sheets and went to shower. Usually, this time of day, I'd have to pick up the kid from school, then immediately start cooking dinner. After everyone ate, I'd clean up, wash the dishes, and then tutor our kid with homework. After homework, it was bath time for the child. Then it was the father-in-law's turn, washing, medicine, care. Only when he finally went to sleep did I get a moment for myself. In this house, I was a workhorse. After my shower, I started counting my savings. I graduated from a vocational college and only worked a few years before getting married. After marriage, Luis handed all his salary to his mother. Even grocery money had to be reported weekly. If I needed money, I had to apply for it with my mother-in-law. Luis never gave me a cent directly, but I wasn't totally without income. I'm fluent in English. Sometimes I'd take on part-time gigs, and each job paid a few hundred. Over time, I'd managed to save up just over 10,000 yuan. It wasn't much, but after the divorce, it'd be enough to get me by while I found work. And the house? I didn't have to worry about that either. This place was left to me by my parents. It's huge. It's my premarital asset. Luis doesn't get a cent of it. Back when we got married, Luis immediately moved his parents in. Before his sister got married, she also lived here. Now that I think about it, maybe Luis only married me for this house. His whole family had probably been plotting from the start to suck me dry and leave me with nothing. But not this time. This time, I won't back down. I'm kicking all of them out of this house. At that moment, my mother-in-law started banging on the door. Camila, what are you hiding in there for? The kid's almost out of school. Why haven't you picked him up? Look at this mess on the floor. You lazy slob. I opened the door. The kid doesn't want me to pick him up. Let Luis go. She shrieked. How could Luis do something like that? Why not? The child isn't mine alone. Fine. No one's picking him up. Then, that was one of her go-to tactics. Before, whenever no one else in the family moved, I'd feel guilty for the child and given. I always silently did everything. But not this time. Not even a second later. I heard a loud bang from outside the room. Chapter 3. I figured it must have been my mother-in-law who slammed the door and left. She never came home before dinner anyway. I opened the door. In the living room, aside from shattered messes everywhere, only my father-in-law sat in his wheelchair. I pretended not to see him, went straight to the study and turned on the computer. Time to look for a job. When I say my English is good, I mean it. I majored in international business at college. I've always loved English, never gave it up. I polished up my resume and fired off applications to over 100 companies in one go. Done with that, I headed straight to the bedroom, laid down and went to sleep. I was exhausted. I didn't want to think. Didn't want to care. Where's dinner? Why hasn't anyone cooked? You just lie there like a corpse. Can't even cook? Can't even clean? What the hell are you doing here? Luis. Look at the woman you married. Lazy. Selfish. Just lying around all day. She must be itching for trouble. My mother-in-law's shrill voice woke me up. Annoyed, I pulled the blanket over my head. Get up! I hadn't even noticed Luis had walked in. That was it. Rage shot through me. I sat up like a spring-loaded cannon. Are you insane? Can't you see I'm sleeping? Luis snapped. Sleep. 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 It's not even that late and you're already in bed. Why didn't you cook? I'm not eating. Nobody cares if you're eating. Mom told you to cook. Why didn't you? I looked at him, surprised. Do you not understand Chinese or are you just stupid? I said I'm not eating. Whoever's hungry can cook. You're doing this on purpose. What did my mom ever do to you for you to act like this? Camila, don't push it too far. Oh, I'm pushing it? What are you gonna do, divorce me? Go ahead. Get lost. Go find that Amanda of yours and have her serve your whole family. Luis took a deep breath, grinding his teeth. Fine. You won't cook? Then the kids can go hungry too. I rolled my eyes. Same old tactic. Not even a little creativity. We were still arguing when the kids came home. Sophia and Lucas, our 9-year-old twins. Lucas walked in and saw us yelling. Mom, why are you fighting with Dad again? Can't you just be quiet for once? Sophia nodded. Yeah, Mom, you're too loud, and you didn't pick us up today. Luis, stone-faced, turned to them. See what your mom's become? Don't grow up like her. She acts like some uncultured shrew. I almost choked from anger. I stared coldly at the two little creatures I had given birth to. Genetics really are something. Lucas and Sophia had inherited every bit of Luis's selfishness. All they ever saw was me yelling in this house. Every single time, they sided with him. In my last life, when I was dying from illness, all they thought about was how to throw me out. Not one of them tried to get me help. Now I finally understood. Husband? Kids? If that's what a husband and kids are, then I don't want them. With a cold, fake smile I said, "Fine, I won't argue with your dad anymore. Take him away. I've got a headache. Don't come in here and bother me again." The two kids looked at each other, confused. They didn't understand why I suddenly stopped fighting. Luis glared. "The kids just got home and you're still lying around? Get up and cook." I didn't even bother answering. Luis shouted louder, "Camila, did you hear me?" Still no reaction from me. He yelled again, "Are you deaf? I told you to make dinner. How long are you going to keep acting like this? I told you already, it was just a normal chat with a student. You're being completely unreasonable. What will people think of me?" I got up and waved the two little ones over. When Sophia and Lucas came closer, I said, "I'm not yelling right now, it's your dad who's been shouting nonstop. Can you ask him to quiet down a bit? He's supposed to be a professor, yet he acts like he has no class at all. Don't grow up to be like him, okay? Like some lunatic." The kids looked up at Luis. "Daddy, stop yelling," Lucas said. My mother-in-law suddenly barged in and pushed the two kids aside. "What do you brats know? Your father is disciplining his woman. That's what real men do." Sophia stumbled and fell hard onto the floor, wailing in pain, with her sharp, narrow eyes. My mother-in-law shot me a glance and snapped, "What are you crying for, you little burden? Always crying like someone died. Useless girl." In the past, I would have rushed to pick Sophia up and fought with my mother-in-law. But not anymore. I'm not that stupid. Those two little brats used to fall for every word their grandma said, forgetting everything they saw and felt when they were younger. They even told me to forgive and let it go. Fine, let's see how they fare without my protection. Luis frowned and looked at his mother. "All right, Mom, that's enough. Just go cook dinner." Her eyes bulged. "Me? Cook? What is she here for then?" Luis sighed. "She's not feeling well today. Just help us this time, okay?" I looked at her with a cold smile. "See? When your heart is cold enough, you can make anything happen." After she left, Luis took the kids with him out of the room. I called out, "Don't forget we're going to the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow for the divorce." Luis whipped his head around. "Fine. Let's go. Just don't come crying to me later." That night, I didn't lift a finger. My mother-in-law clanged around the kitchen, making a mess of dinner while yelling nonstop, not just at me but at the kids too. I didn't help the kids with homework either. Luis had no choice but to do it himself. Even through the bedroom door, I could hear him yelling like a maniac. I laughed. Back when I helped the kids, everyone said I had a bad temper and was too harsh. But when it's Luis yelling, his mom doesn't dare utter a word. Finally, when the kids were bathed and in bed, my father-in-law started banging the floor with a bamboo pole, a custom tool my mother-in-law made for him. Whenever he needed something, he'd hit the floor and I'd go over. But not tonight. "Camila, hurry up. Your father-in-law had an accident. Come clean it up." "You deaf? You trying to kill the man or what?" She pounded on the door like she was about to break it down. I walked out, calm and cold. Luis and I are getting divorced tomorrow. I have no obligation to take care of him. Luis is such a good son, ask him. "You heartless woman. Luis must have been cursed to have married you." I smiled. "Regretting it? Great. Let's get the divorce done. There are plenty of women out there dying to marry your son." So satisfying. My mother-in-law, too proud to make Luis do it, could only stomp and curse as she cleaned up after her husband. Pee, poop, everything. Took her several rounds. The next morning, I got up early and packed my things. I overheard her grumbling in the kitchen. "Son, are you really going to divorce her? My back's killing me from last night. Who's going to do everything if she leaves?" Luis replied confidently, "Relax. Mom, I'm just scaring her with the divorce. There's a 30-day cooling-off period after signing, right? She'll beg to come back before it ends. In the meantime, let her struggle a bit. She needs to learn the house runs just fine without her. Chapter 4. Once she stops throwing tantrums, she'll go back to doing everything like before. My mother-in-law chuckled. That's my cultured son. Don't let her get away with it. She's gotten too bold. Louise smirked. I know, she's terrified when I get mad. The moment I raise my voice, she turns into a quail. This time, we'll teach her a real lesson. Good boy. Listen to your mother. I sneered coldly. I suddenly remembered how it was in my last life too. He had promised me we'd get divorced. But before we even made it to the Civil Affairs Bureau, I got scared. Scared he'd take the kids away. I backed out. And from that day on, I was beneath him. Every time he cheated again, he'd say, if you don't like it, get a divorce. But I no longer had the courage. Luis came out and saw me sitting on the couch. He looked at me with disgust. Didn't you want a divorce? Let's go. The kids hadn't left for school yet. When they heard divorce, their eyes widened. Mom, are you really getting divorced? I nodded. Your dad says he's taking you both with him. So start packing after the divorce. You'll move out with him. He has money. He'll buy you a big new house. Lucas lit up. Then I want Amanda to be my new mom. She's so gentle, helps me with homework and always smiles at me. Not like you. Mom, you're always angry. Sophia chimed in. I want Amanda too. She's so pretty. Mom, you're not pretty. Will Amanda come pick us up from school now? I smiled. Then go tell your dad to hurry up and marry Amanda. You'll be living your dream life in no time. My mother-in-law burst out. What? You want me to move out? This is my son's home. I'm not going anywhere. Luis's face turned dark. Camila, are you seriously doing this? Oh, come on, Luis. You're divorcing me and marrying Amanda. You think you'll stay in my parents' house? Everything here has my fingerprints on it. Amanda won't like that. You're a professor, right? Don't tell me you'd stoop so low as to fight over your ex-wife's premarital property. You want people to laugh at you? Luis's face turned even uglier as we arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau. I beamed brightly among the gloomy divorcing crowd, looking positively radiant. The clerk handed over the divorce agreement. Look it over. Custody goes to the father. Mother leaves with nothing. No shared savings. Any objections? I said. No problem. Luis gave a stiff nod. Someone nearby muttered. What kind of man kicks his wife out with nothing? Trash. Luis turned and shot the guy a death glare. I walked out of the bureau, thinking, just 30 more days, and I'll be done with that entire family. Pack up and move out ASAP. I'll pay child support on time. Luis didn't say a word. He turned and left. When I got home, my mother-in-law was feeding my father-in-law with a stiff expression. She saw me and put the bowl down. Look who finally came back. Do you know what time it is? You're lazy as hell, won't even cook a meal. I replied. Ma'am, you've got 2 working hands. Why don't you cook for yourself? She glared. What did you call me? Ma'am, is there a problem? I'm divorced from Luis. What else should I call you? You actually signed those papers? I gave a cold smile. Your son's getting a new wife. Shouldn't I make room? You filthy-mouthed tramp. I rolled my eyes and ignored her, walked into the room and started packing Luis's things. Over the years, his family had taken over every corner of the house. Even his sister had her own room here. It disgusted me. That evening, Luis came home and saw I'd thrown out all his stuff. He stormed over, kicked everything aside. His face cold as stone. The kids started crying in fear. In the past, I was the hysterical one in this house. Now that I've gone quiet, Luis is the one losing it. I ignored the crying. My mother-in-law came out and started shouting indirect insults, even cursing the kids. Luis was stuck trying to calm everyone down. As for the father-in-law, I completely stopped taking care of him. A few days passed like that. And finally, Luis had enough. He worked all day and came home to chaos. His mom complained about back pain, leg pain. His dad needed help getting up at night, going to the bathroom. She couldn't handle all the chores alone. So she called him to do them. He barely got any sleep. Even his phone chats started decreasing. Camila, what the hell do you want? I was applying skincare in front of the mirror. I used to feel guilty about buying this stuff. My skin had gotten rough, but now I know I deserve to care for myself. I looked at the younger, brighter me in the mirror, raised an eyebrow. What do I want? I don't understand the question. I don't want anything. Don't play dumb. Look at this house, so much work. And I'm dying of exhaustion. So is my mom. So? They're not my parents. You live here for free and talk to me like that? I laughed. Excuse me? You're all living in my house, and I haven't even asked for rent yet. You're doing this on purpose. Fine, without me. You'll be begging on the streets. Sorry to disappoint you. I'm starting work tomorrow, after sending out resumes for 2 weeks. I finally landed a great job at a promising trading company. I start tomorrow. You found a job? Without telling me? Who said you could? I can afford to support you. I raised my hand. Whoa, stop right there. We're divorced. Or did you forget? Luis began pacing like a madman, then snapped. You think it's over? Divorce doesn't count yet. There's still time left in the 30-day cooling-off period. If I don't sign again, we're not divorced. I watched him storm off, eyes cold. It's fine. I have my own ways. I found a job. I've taken back control of my life. Now I leave early and come home late. And soon, I got my first paycheck. The moment it came in, I went out and bought myself a whole new wardrobe. My mother-in-law stared at me with a venomous glare. Her face gloomy, as if dipped in poison. She no longer had time to play mahjong or dance. She'd visibly lost over 10 pounds, aged 10 years overnight. Luis, seeing I still hadn't backed down, started putting on a show. He even came to me trying to talk sweetly. Every day he sent me useless little messages like, wear more layers. It's cold. Don't forget to eat. Empty nonsense. And just like that, the moment I'd been waiting for finally came. Amanda couldn't hold back anymore. She messaged me. I don't know how she got my number. She sent me a sonogram photo, saying she was pregnant with Luis's child. In my last life, she did the same. Back then, I immediately lost it and had a massive fight with Luis. But the divorce never happened. Luis quickly took Amanda to get an abortion, and the matter was buried. I never saw Amanda again, but this time, Amanda messaged me much later. From the scan, the baby looked almost 3 months along. I invited Amanda to meet at a cafe. I'm pregnant with the professor's child. She said, please divorce him. I'm begging you. I don't know what else to do. I studied her carefully. She was exactly Luis's type. Gentle, naive, fragile, and of course, pure. I know it's ridiculous to call a mistress pure, but Luis liked those harmless-looking girls. Soft-spoken, white rabbit types. Seeing I wasn't replying, Amanda panicked. I'm so sorry. Sis, I really didn't mean to steal him. If my father finds out, he'll kill me. He's an old-school teacher. Face and reputation matter most to him. I finally spoke. Luis and I are already divorced. Didn't he tell you? Huh? I sighed. He told me he'd fallen in love with someone else and wanted to marry her. I'm older, and we've argued enough through the years. I'm tired. Might as well let you two be happy. Amanda lit up. He said you two had no more love left. Only familiarity. He said you weren't good enough for him, but he'd still take care of you and the kids. I laughed inside. That lying scumbag. But on the surface, I looked touched. You're pregnant now. Better hurry up and get married. Adults can wait, babies can't. You're so kind. Sis, once you and the kids move out, I'll make sure the professor pays child support on time. I waved it off generously. Let's not talk about money. I didn't take a single cent in the divorce. Why would I want anything now? Amanda's eyes lit up. You really left with nothing? Yep. I haven't worked in years, lived off Luis's money. I didn't have the face to ask for anything. Amanda smiled. You're amazing. Most women aren't that morally upright. I gave a light laugh. Well, you can relax now. Looks like your friends are waiting for you, outside the cafe. A few men and women were peeking through the window. Amanda got flustered. They were worried you'd be mean to me, but I didn't expect you to be so reasonable. It's fine. Once the 30-day cooling-off period is over, Luis can officially meet your father. Chapter 5. Amanda nodded. As I watched her walk away, I chuckled. No wonder Luis liked her, so obedient. Honestly, I kind of liked that about her too. That evening, before I even got to the front door, I could already hear shouting from inside. I opened the door and saw Lily sobbing on the couch, her makeup smeared all over. Sitting in the living room were her husband, Santiago, and his parents. My mother-in-law was fuming, pointing at Santiago. You tell me, what's wrong with Lily? Why are you going after another woman? I raised an eyebrow. Well, that was fast. Santiago was just like Luis, couldn't keep it in his pants. When Santiago saw me walk in, he called out, "Sis-in-law, Santiago, you're glowing. Must be true what they say, when life is good, it shows on your face." Yes, I was being petty on purpose. My mother-in-law still didn't know. Santiago had gotten another woman pregnant. Lily was crying now. But she'd be crying a lot more soon, because she couldn't have children. If you've got nothing useful to say, shut your mouth. Lily shot to her feet. Say that again. You're mocking me, aren't you? Damn right I'm mocking you. You deserve it. You can't control your man, and now you want to blame Santiago? Lily's eyes burned with rage. Say it again. I dare you. I shrugged and turned to Santiago's mom. Auntie, don't you think I'm right? Santiago's a man, so what if he had some fun outside? Some women can't manage their own husbands and still think they can cry about it. Santiago's mom broke into a smile. Sister-in-law, you're absolutely right. Santiago's working hard outside, doing real business. But Lily just stormed into his office making a scene. So embarrassing. I gasped. Lily did that? What poor manners. She's acting like a banshee. Santiago, maybe it's time you get your wife under control. Sounds like she's overdue for a reality check. Santiago suddenly looked a little smug. Throwing Lily a superior glance, I added, look at me. I never nag Luis. He could have 10 women on the side, as long as he doesn't parade them in front of me. I pretend I don't see it. Santiago gave me a thumbs up. You're a real woman. Sis-in-law. So classy. Not like Lily, always yelling like a madwoman. The whole family's sick of it. Camila, get out! Lily screamed. I dropped my things. Wrong person. You should get out. This house is mine. You're the ones who don't belong here. Lily charged at me, ready to hit, but I was done holding back. I slapped her hard across the face. You barren hen, who the hell are you to tell Santiago what to do? Santiago froze. Women know where to stab deep, and I knew Lily's weak spot better than anyone. She hated it when people mentioned her infertility. Why was my mother-in-law suddenly being so gentle this time? Because Lily couldn't give her a grandchild. That's why. Santiago's mom was beaming. She's absolutely right. If you ask me, Santiago should just divorce her. The other woman already has a baby on the way. It's our grandchild. Divorce? No. Mom, I don't want a divorce. Lily sobbed like a broken child, grabbing at my mother-in-law and shaking her desperately. Suddenly, my mother-in-law's face twisted in pain. She clutched her chest and collapsed. She ended up in the hospital from the shock. Lily rushed to the ER with Santiago and his parents. By the time Luis heard about it, his mom was already hospitalized. Now Luis had his hands full. Lily looked after her during the day, and he had to stay overnight. Nobody had time for the kids or his dad. Eventually, Luis came to me. You see what's happening at home. This really isn't a good time for us to get divorced. Oh, it's not a good time for you. But for me? It's perfect. Luis frowned, frustrated. Can't you think about the bigger picture for once? You didn't used to be like this. Yeah, I used to be stupid. Not anymore. Luis suddenly grabbed my hand. Camila, please, I'm begging you. I need you right now. The kids need you. The whole family needs you. I sighed. As a daughter-in-law, it is my duty to take care of my mother-in-law. Luis lit up. I knew it! You've always been the most obedient. But the next day, Luis walked into the hospital room and saw Amanda sitting there, taking care of my mother-in-law. So when Luis's colleagues from the university showed up with gifts to visit, they naturally saw Amanda too. I walked in with a pleasant smile. "Aw, you all came. How thoughtful. Thank you for making the trip. Hi, sister-in-law. Good to see you. Sis-in-law." I quickly waved my hands. No, don't call me that anymore. I pulled over Amanda, who was standing frozen in place. "This is your new sister-in-law, Amanda. She's already 3 months pregnant." The professor and I hurried through the divorce to avoid wronging the baby. "So from now on, that sister-in-law title? Give it to her." The room fell dead silent. Everyone's eyes ping-ponged awkwardly between Luis and Amanda. Amanda's eyes instantly turned red. Luis's face went completely black. Awkwardness hanging thick in the air. Before he could explode, I turned and strolled out of the room. Luis chased after me. "What the hell are you trying to do? Does it really make you that happy to see me embarrassed?" I stopped walking. "Luis, you said you and Amanda were just chatting. Well, that chat function must be pretty impressive, got her pregnant and everything." Luis's face twisted. He glared at me, jaw clenched. "The cooling off period ends the day after tomorrow. If you don't want to destroy your future, you'll show up and sign those papers. Fine. But don't forget, after this, you're never seeing the kids again." I stopped walking again and turned to look at him. Luis saw me pause and smirked, as if to say, "See? You can't beat me." But I walked away without a shred of hesitation. On divorce day, Luis arrived with both kids in tow. And of course, Amanda, now visibly pregnant. Lucas, trying to act all grown up, supported Amanda's arm. "Be careful, Mommy." "Aw, Lucas, you're such a good boy," Amanda said sweetly. I curled my lips into a cold smile, no emotion on my face. In my last life, I had suffered enough because of those 2 children. Now I felt nothing. Luis said, "I brought them so you can see them for the last time. After today, you won't see them again." "All right." Luis looked displeased. "You really don't want to fight for them? If you just apologize, we don't have to get divorced." Amanda clutched Luis's arm nervously. I laughed. "Saying that in front of your new wife, classy move." And just like that, Luis and I officially finalized our divorce. The moment I held that divorce certificate in my hands, I burst into tears of joy. Luis, watching coldly from the side, muttered, "Crying now won't change anything." That same day, Luis and Amanda got their marriage certificate. And I cried again, tears of relief. The 2 of them were finally stuck together. Since Luis was now married, he couldn't live with me anymore. He moved out soon after, and just like that, the house felt spacious for the first time. I hired a professional cleaning service to deep clean the entire place. I threw out all the clothes my in-laws couldn't bear to part with. All their trash and junk they'd hoarded for years. As for the stuff Lily left behind, tossed every last bit of it like scrap. It felt like a decade's worth of bad luck had been swept away. My life finally began to feel full, peaceful. No more getting up early to make breakfast. Chapter 6. If I felt like cooking, I cooked. If I didn't feel like cleaning, I hired someone to do it. No more taking care of my paralyzed father-in-law at night. Even the air felt fresher. I threw myself fully into work. Made some fun, interesting friends. Spent weekends hiking, and took short trips out of town on holidays. This kind of life used to be unimaginable to me, but not anymore. Soon, thanks to my skills, I got promoted, and my salary doubled. Then one day, I was stunned to see the 2 kids standing outside my door. "What are you doing here?" Lucas and Sophia had their heads lowered. They didn't speak. I looked them over. It was nearly winter. Yet they were still wearing thin jackets. Even so, I didn't let them in. If they didn't want to explain, I wasn't going to ask. After all, if you get a new mom, you get a new dad too. My former mother-in-law never liked children. Lucas got some scraps of her affection. Sophia got almost none. "Where are you living now?" I'll drive you back, Lucas suddenly shouted. Aren't you our mom? We came to find you, and you still want to send us away? I replied calmly. I'm not your mom, Amanda is. You're lying. You are our mom. Amanda's not my mom. In my last life, Lucas was cold and selfish, just like his grandmother. I raised him, sent him to a prestigious school, paid for his wedding, raised his kid. I worked like a slave for him. The moment I opened my eyes each day, there was endless work waiting for me. But when he grew up, he kicked me out. When I got sick and couldn't get out of bed, the neighborhood committee contacted him, and he said, "She's not my mom." I had to prove I was his biological mother. Otherwise, he said, he had no legal obligation to take care of me. So, do you have any proof on your mom? Sophia started crying. Mom. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have called someone else mom. Please forgive us. But she wasn't much better. Last time, she thought I was biased toward Lucas. Barely spoke to me. But in truth, I'd poured just as much effort, maybe more, into her. Even most of the money Luis left behind went to her. Lucas thought I didn't give him the entire inheritance because he was a boy. So he hated me. Sophia thought I loved her brother more, because I helped care for his child. So she hated me too. They both felt cheated. Before I got sick, Sophia had already vanished from my life. I chose to call the police. I handed the kids over to the officers. As they left, both officers looked at me with a hint of judgment in their eyes. I forced a weak smile, but deep down, I felt hollow, numb. I had thought the kids came out of anger. But to my surprise, Amanda came looking for me too. She had just given birth. Hadn't even finished her postpartum recovery. She was crying nonstop. My mother-in-law doesn't do anything. I have to take care of the baby and the paralyzed old man. And now they expect me to bathe him too. My sister-in-law is in the middle of a divorce, keeps running back home every few days. I haven't had a full night's sleep in weeks. Luis always tells me to just endure a little longer. But I can't anymore. And then I found photos from another woman on his phone. By now I was beyond annoyed. So what do you want from me? I can't help you. You can. If you get back together with Luis, I can be free again. Are you insane? Sis, I know I wronged you, Amanda said. I'll give Luis back to you. I swear I'll never interfere in your lives again. I thought for a moment, if you really want to get away from that family, there is a way. Amanda grabbed my hand, eyes sparkling. Just threaten Luis. Tell him he's been harassing you. Say you'll report him to the university if he doesn't divorce you. He already has a terrible reputation at work. Now that he's flirting with another woman, he'll definitely cave. He cares too much about his image. After all, that's exactly how I forced him to divorce me. With this plan in hand, Amanda did just as I said. She threatened Luis. Luis, of course, refused. Even my ex-mother-in-law suddenly grew cautious. No way was she going to let Luis divorce Amanda now. Not when she finally had a doormat doing all the housework. But Amanda turned out to be far bolder than I expected. She brought people from the university and confronted Luis at his doorstep. Because Luis was a professor at a top university. The whole thing made the local news. He lost everything. His reputation among family and friends. His professor title. And finally, his job. Amanda painted herself as the poor victim online, and successfully divorced him. She didn't take the child. I heard she remarried someone from another city, and never came back. Luis, now alone, was left to support 3 children on his own. Eventually, he started calling and messaging me constantly. By the time he gave up and came knocking at my door in person, I was already gone. I'd sold the house, and flown overseas to start a new life. Ever since the day those kids showed up at my door, I knew, if I wanted to escape Luis completely, I had to go somewhere they'd never find me. So I applied for work abroad. Luckily, the country I applied to was unpopular with most people. So my request was quickly approved. Life here hasn't been easy. But my heart is finally free. As my savings steadily grew, I sometimes bought little gifts and mailed them home to the kids. Later, I started dating someone new. If I liked him, I stayed. If I didn't, I left. Just like any free woman would. I enjoy love. I enjoy life. The only thing I never believed in again was marriage.